This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Recording has started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Capes and Lunatics special. I am here tonight. I am joined by Brent Hand, correct?
That is correct.
All right. Oh, look at that professional setup back there.
I'm digging yours a little bit more, though. I'm seeing the Green Lantern right over your shoulder. I don't know if that's pandering to me or not, or if that was already there, but I'm digging
it. Oh, no, it's there. It's been there at least for a week. But
nice.
Because before we get into why we're here, you do a podcast also, correct?
Absolutely. I am the co-host of Hysteria 51. We record out of Chicago, and it is a weekly podcast. We do conspiracy theories and monsters and aliens and stuff. Very skeptical. You know, we kind of look at it and have some fun and talk it. And, just celebrated our 2-year anniversary, so chugging away.
Cool. Like the X-Files of podcast.
Yeah, right. We actually, a couple months ago, did an episode with the X-Files, actually. Their producer reached out to us. That was pretty cool.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, and they promised us lots of things, and I think we got a t-shirt each out of it. But, hey, it was worth it.
Hey, free anything.
Exactly.
So, the reason we're here is Rob Southgate put us in contact.
Good old Rob, that's right.
He's like, oh, Brent has like the biggest Green Lantern collection on Earth.
I have quite a bit. Yeah. Yeah, I was actually at a podcast meetup with Rob, and we were talking, and we just started talking about comics, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of hesitate because I've been a lifelong fan, so you never want to be like, oh, I have a room dedicated to something, and then like, oh my God, you're one of those people. But I told him, and I was like, here, let me show you some photos. He's like, oh, I know some people you have to talk to. So he was pretty excited. Yeah, exactly.
We're big fans of comics, especially Marvel and DC. Like, if I panned around the room, just the walls are covered in Marvel and DC stuff.
Right. Yeah. I know. I was, like I already said, I was already admiring your wall behind you. Absolutely.
Oh, this is just a small part. So, podcaster. So, my first question, you sent me you showed me some of the pictures, that software you use for your. I was going to ask you if you read the comics.
Yeah, so I've been collecting comics my whole life. Like, as long as when I go to the store, if I was good as a little kid, my mom would let me buy a comic. That was like the bribe. Yeah. And I've always collected them. I have an older cousin who's, he's in his 50s, and he collected, and his name was Steve, and he kind of got me into it. And I've collected and kept them my whole life. And so once you get a lot, you start forgetting. So a few years ago, I got, I seen pictures. It's called Collectors with a Z. They have it for comics and albums and books and everything. But you just tell it what you're, I read I read a lot of different things over the years, but you tell it what you're doing, and it has the photo of the cover, the back, everything. And so you never buy duplicates, which is, if you're going for back issues, that can be an issue, when you were trying to buy lots of stuff. So yeah, I seen a couple photos of that, and it's a lifesaver. And it sends it's got a phone app for iOS or Android. Yeah. So I sent it, my wife's going out somewhere. I'm like, hey, look for these while you're out and about or something like that.
Oh, my wife gets mad. My wife gets mad if we go to the store and she picks something up. She's like, do you have this? And I'm always like, yeah, I have that.
Yeah. They just, it's funny. She was like, my wife, they're coming out with the He-Man collection of DC. So it's, I don't know if you see it. They've done a bunch of them. They did the horror movie character. So my wife's like, hey, I don't know if you saw this. This was this week. I'm like, yeah, about 2 months ago, I told you don't buy it. I've already ordered 2 of them. She's like, oh yeah, I forgot. I didn't put it on my list.
But is that free software or?
I believe there is it's one of those, it's free to get you in, and then you gotta pay. You know what? And they do updates all the time. I literally haven't updated it. You don't have to do the updates. I haven't updated it in probably 2 or 3 years. I'm fine. The updates just add features. They even have a barcode scanner. You can scan them with a barcode, and it puts them in. Sweet. Yeah. As long as you have a barcode, which scanner, So yeah, I don't know. It's maybe $50, and you're in it forever.
Oh, okay.
It's not that bad, if you're
Yeah.
If you have a lot of them, I guess.
Because I do it the hard way. I scan every cover of everything I get, and I keep them just on a hard drive.
Yeah, or an Excel spreadsheet. I used to.
But it's if I'm at the store, I can't access it. I can't access it on my phone, so I might have to.
Yeah, it's like a paid advertisement. Collectors with a Z. But yeah, it's been really good. Now, I tell you what, though, when you sit down to do it, if you have a lot, it's a daunting task.
Oh, yeah.
And they do have, if you have a whole run, you can just click entire run, and, but it takes a long time.
Well, I'm like you. I basically started when I was 10 years old. I'm 40 now, so yeah, do that.
Yeah.
My basement looks like.
So you have upwards of 30 comics. Yeah. I
yeah. Sure.
Exactly. But yeah, I was reading the comics, and then I started collecting toys. I was that weird kid even back then when I got something I liked. I was like, I'll leave it in the box or whatever. So most of my stuff is the collectors go, oh, you gotta let them breathe. Now mine are still in the box. I'm that guy. But for the most part, yeah. So, and I started collecting Green Lantern. I collected for my whole life. That's my, beyond far and away my favorite character. And I collected. And then when I got my first house years ago, I was like, I kind of kicked it into overdrive because no one's going to tell me you can't do that. So I did that. And I'm the luckiest guy in the world. My wife is great, awesome, I love it, and she buys me half the stuff that we have now, so at least she knows that she can't go wrong with a gift. If it's Green Lantern, I don't have it, I'm happy, and if I do have it, I'm probably okay with it anyway too.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put up just one of those pics you sent me as when this episode goes up. But do you know how many pieces you have in your Green Lantern collection?
I have just over 1,000 individual pieces.
Wow.
So that's not counting comics. So the reason I know and the reason I did this is I contacted Guinness Book of World Records. I believe it was mid 2017. And I said, hey, you have a Batman collection. You have a Superman collection. Would you be interested in, doing Green Lantern? They were. It was one that they already wanted to do. So they're like, well, let's talk. And you pay $5 and they decide if they're going to do it or not. So I paid the $5 and you wait. And you send some photos. A lot of the photos that someone I sent you is just I took photos and sent to them so they could see the collection. And then they're like, would you have at least 1,000, I think, or maybe it was 600 individual pieces that are available in a store. We'll count your custom stuff later. Okay. And I was like, yeah, I know, I've got that. They're like, okay, great. Now what you want to do is you can pay us $1,500 or $1,500 or $3,000 and we'll come and count it. Or you have to get a third party that is not hired. You have to hire a third party and we have to film them count each individual piece, including the comics, each individual comic. So we started with, a girl that my wife worked with, hey, and we're filming and doing the count and you get through the toys fast, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's nothing. Then the comics, you're just like, oh my God. So we stopped, and I don't think I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? It's taken so long. And I've talked to people, and they're like, yeah, and then they say, oh, something's wrong, you got to resubmit and stuff. Wow. So I don't know. I was really excited, and I was telling everyone, I want to be in the Guinness Book of World Records, And then they said, get it to us, and you're going to be in there. And now I'm just like, ugh, Guinness Book of World Records.
So did they give you a number you had to hit, or
I think they wanted
submit your number?
I submitted to them the goal, or I'm sorry, the record. Mm-hmm. But in order for them to want to put it in the book, they came up with the arbitrary number. I think it was 600 individual pieces, but it might have been 1,000. Mm-hmm. But I just might have that in my head. But I think it was 600 for them to consider it, worthwhile of putting it in. So I was like, yeah, no, I've got that. And they're like, all right, start counting. That was toys. The comics were separate. That had to be toys.
Oh.
So comics was just, that was going to be a caveat to it. So with comics, I got literally thousands, however many Green Lantern. I have them written down now in the stuff I had for them. But yeah, it was just kind of it was fun at first, and then it became a huge chore. And you're just like, ugh, I don't know. And you're taking photos of everyone. A couple hours go by, and you're like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. So, yeah. Oh well.
So do you get to this collection? Do you remember the first item you ever got for the collection?
Yeah, so the first Green Lantern that I remember that I still have was, remember Super Friends?
Mm-hmm.
So they had the little, like, barely movable arm and leg kind of went straight. I had the Hal Jordan from, I think it's from 86 maybe.
So and that was where you squeeze the legs and the arm shoots up?
No, it was just like hard plastic.
Okay.
And the small, they're about, the 6-inch figures. And that was one of the first ones that I remember getting Green Lantern. That's what made me love the character was Super Friends. There was an episode with him and Superman. I remember I was young. And they had to go into like a sun to save it, so they like merged together, and I'm like, that's awesome. And I was a big Superman fan too, and kind of Green Lantern won out over time. But that was my first, like, when I was like, I really like this, and I remember like that was my toy, you know what I mean? And then you grow up and you get older, you still have it, and you don't tell people like, oh, this is my toy from when I was a little kid, but now that's okay. A few years ago, 10 years ago, people were like, what's wrong with you? Nothing.
or people had to be in hiding for many years, but
right. Yeah. Exactly so.
So since he's your first, is Hal your favorite?
Hal is definitely my favorite. Hal is. And I grew up in a weird time because Hal was dead for years and years. They brought, Jeff Johns, who is an amazing, writer, brought him back in, Green Lantern Rebirth in 2005, I think it was. Yeah. But I was never a huge Kyle Rayner fan. I don't know if for the fans out there that aren't maybe up on Green Lantern. So Hal Jordan was, when you think of Green Lantern back in the day, Hal Jordan's kind of what you thought of. Now there was a lot of Green Lanterns. But Hal was the guy, and remember the reign of Superman when Superman died? Well, Cyborg Superman destroyed Coast City, and he went crazy. And
I was there for that. Oh
yeah. And ends up sacrificing his life, long story short, to reignite the sun. And then Jeff Johns found a way to bring him back so that he really wasn't a bad guy. It was all a big misunderstanding.
He was possessed by Parallax.
He had a parasite called Parallax. Yeah. So, but that was great. Jeff Johns is a fantastic writer. Now he's like head of creative direction or something like that for DC. So he's big time up there, executive.
Oh yeah, he did a lot of work. Yeah, that on the Flash, Justice Society.
Aquaman, he made Aquaman cool again.
True. Yeah.
Or cool, maybe not again. And he's the one who come up with the whole spectrum. The Blue Lanterns are Hope, and the Red Lantern Corps, and Sinestro having his own corps, which is fantastic. Sinestro's a great character. He's one of my favorites also. So just an amazing writer, and really turned the character around.
That's like the two big properties that like they really didn't do like a fast reboot on when they did New 52 was Batman and Green Lantern. Yeah, Green
Lantern was the cash cow then, so that everything gets rebooted. They're like Green Lantern gets left alone. Because at that time, it was outselling everything. Jeff Johns was just killing it. And so everyone else got rebooted in Green Lantern. They're like, we're still going with what we were already doing.
Yeah.
So that worked out, at least for people like me. It worked out pretty well.
Yeah. But that whole Kyle Rayner era was kind of weird because it's like they swept everything away. There was no Corps. There was no Lantern Corps. It was just Kyle. There was no Guardians.
What is he, drunk coming out of a bar and the last Guardian crashes? And here's a ring, your first guy I saw, The problem with Kyle Rayner is I feel like they've never really known what they want to do with him as a character. And after they've brought back, the whole core and everything, he's kind of been off on his own and doing things, and he was the Ion for a long time. Then he was the Rainbow. He was the first, Rain Lantern person to hold all the rings.
The White Lantern or whatever.
Well, yeah, and then he's, having an affair with Carol Ferris, who's, Hal's ex, and he's just all over the place. You're like, I just don't know. And a lot of people, I think that grew up with him, like him. He's just not, I just don't know I don't think they know what to do with him per se. He doesn't have that set, this is his character like a lot of them do. To me, man, that's to me though. But it's hey, got to sell those toys, and they're not going to be there anyway. You know, that's
Yeah.
Look at the Young Justice, which is coming back. You know, an amazing show that was canceled just because toys didn't sell. You know,
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. But hey, you know.
Well, did you watch that Green Lantern animated series they had a couple years
I did, and it was okay. You know, it was okay, and you know they've done a few. I like the New Frontier, which was set in the long. You know, I don't know if you saw. It was a one-off movie set in like the 40s. I want to say that was pretty fun. You know, and I like that Nathan Fillion is playing him in the current DC animated universe. You know, and he kind of plays him as the smarmy, cocky. You know, what Hal Jordan's supposed to be, you know, so I like that. Anything's better than the movie.
I was going to say, that Ryan Reynolds movie.
You know, people love it. People love Ryan Reynolds, but man, it was just a terrible, terrible movie. No, I don't think anyone loves that movie. But, you know, and it set back any of the movies and everything, you know, now they weren't going to come out with another one until 2020, even if they are now.
Yeah.
There was a tiny cameo in Justice League, in the flashback scene, you know, when they were fighting, with Wonder Woman and on the, you know, the mother box the first time. But, you know, it's before now, it would have been a hard character to put on screen because think of the CGI, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And the first time it was just, it didn't work, you know, and it's just crazy. It's great, you know. And it's supposed to be cartoony and crazy, but realistic. That's hard to do. That's really hard to do. They haven't figured it out yet, I don't think. So we'll see, you know.
All right. We'll do the two extremes first. What's the oldest Green Lantern comic you have?
The oldest. I've got a lot of, you know, some bits and pieces of Series 1 and Series 2. I don't know the oldest. I do have, is it 50? The famous cover where he's shooting the, Green Arrow shooting the arrow shattering the power battery. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank here.
Is it like 76?
Yes. Enough. Yes. Yeah. I have that one. That's one of my more probably, you know, valuable, you know, that's older.
Oh yeah.
But I don't have anything super rare. I've got, first Sean Stewart, first Guy Gardner, you know, just that I've picked up, but I don't have. I really started in Series 3, which was with Kyle Rayner. Yeah. I hadn't bought all those, but I went back, so I have all of Series 3, 4, 5, and now we're on 6. Just started, literally just started. There are a couple, and I haven't even read them yet. But I would say my oldest is, I don't know, in the you know, the 70s, you know. So
okay.
Yeah. And then my favorite, I bought a I don't even know if you're going to ask me that, but I'll tell you my favorite. You're like,
sure.
I bought a collection off a guy. He had a collection on eBay. No one really bid on it. He didn't really put a lot of information on it. But he had some dealer incentive ash cans, which are real low in numbers. You know, they only put out maybe 100 of them or so. And he had all the ash cans for Blackest Night, including the Zero ash can, which was like stupid low, like 25 of them or 50. I can't remember how many he made. Not many, you know. And I was just like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I don't know. I got them from a buddy. He owned a store, you know." And I was like, "Okay, man, great, thank you." You know, and you always hear about people getting deals like that with stuff. And I know it sounds silly. I don't sell them. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but they might have some value though.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the dealer incentives are different than the you know, you always do the variants. You know, the 1 in 100, 1 in 50, 1 in 10 variants and stuff. Dealer incentives are if they sold enough, they get like one copy that they can do with as they please. And so that's what especially the Blackest Night Zero was probably the most valuable that I had or have. Mm-hmm. And then the older covers and stuff like that. But yeah. So you said a two-parter. What's number two?
We'll go for the oldest to. Did you read Green Lantern #1 last week?
I haven't read them yet. I haven't. Okay. I have them. I have them. I have a couple. I bought all the covers.
Every cover.
Yeah, but no. You know what? I don't love the cover art. Did you like it? It's a little.
I was fine with the cover. Some of the interior, I was like, could have give or take, but
I haven't even thumbed through it. Haven't done anything.
Morrison, it's an interesting story. Like Morrison takes like a really like almost Silver Age take on Hal Jordan.
That's what it. I mean, you can tell that's exactly what they were trying to do with the cover, or at least to me, that's what it looked like. So, yeah. I mean, it might be fantastic. I don't know. I never judge a book by its cover
because even like his girlfriend in it, who's not Carol, it's like talking about him being a traveling salesman. So it's like,
that's like Hard Traveling Heroes days. Him, you know. He was the guy back in the day that him and Green Arrow, they experimented with, like, you're a superhero, but how do you make your living? They barely, they scrape by, you know?
Yeah.
And so they called them the Hard Traveling Heroes, you know, for a long time because, man, I don't know. Don't give me a ring like that because I will rule with an iron fist. I have no qualms. Like, there's no way I'd be like, hey, I mean, truth and justice, probably as long as it's my truth and justice, and then, hey, we're fine. But I don't think I could keep it together. I don't know.
But here, I'll ask your opinion on this. Like, the last few years, the Green Lantern books have been good, but it's just like, it seems like they're always in space. I kind of like a healthy mix, whether they're following like Hal or John or whoever. Like,
I think that,
mix on Earth and in space, and it just seems like
it seems like they tried to make them, you know, Kyle hadn't been on Earth for years, literally for years, you know, and everything they've done has been in space, which is fine. But you're right, you need to be grounded, or I think you lose readership. Mm-hmm. And the reason it was so good when Jeff was doing it, and there was a lot of space then too, but if you remember, Hal Jordan was dead, and he was a Spectre, and, you know, they were trying to, like, some of them knew he was a Spectre, and they're trying to, like, you know, get him to find a way to come back. And you're rooting for him, and then he finds redemption. He comes back, and then he's trying to pick his life back up and his family and all that. And that's like grounded. And then all of a sudden, it's Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what I mean? They're constantly in space, constantly finding the monster of the week, which half the time was, you know, the Red Lanterns or you know, the Sinestro Corps or someone or something. Yeah. And I think that it's definitely, I'm not trying to be like a Jeff Johns fanboy, but it's definitely not as good as it was, 10 years ago, not even 10 years ago to me.
Well, like I said, with all my comics, I like a healthy mix of, like, you know, on Earth and off, because it's like, even with like Thor or something, I'm like, okay, Asgard's fine, but I want to see him eventually come back on Earth and punch a Dwarving Man in the face.
So what's your go-to? What's your favorite book, or what do you read most?
I read a ton of Marvel and DC, but my favorite character is Nightwing.
Oh, nice. Yeah. All right. So are you watching the new show on the DC network, I guess?
Yes. Yeah.
How is it?
It's good. I mean, for the most part, I enjoy it, and I enjoy the way they portray Dick Grayson, but sometimes they make him go a little too violent, or he seems too much like Jason Todd sometimes, which is odd because Jason Todd's just about to get introduced on the show, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you'll appreciate this. So my wife and I just got a new dog, Grayson.
Nice.
Named after Dick Grayson, yeah.
I was so
close.
Had to. I was so close, I almost convinced my wife to name my son Grayson. I was so
So it's a foster. We got it from a foster, and it was a rescue. And their other dog was Bruce Wayne, and they named him Louie. I'm like, no. My wife came up with it. She's like, no, we're naming him Grayson. I was like, that's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah.
But yeah, I'm waiting for to see if they put that. They keep threatening a Nightwing movie, but I'm just like, you'll appreciate this. I'm like, I don't know, the state of the DC movie universe right now. I'm like, I don't want them to pull Green Lantern. You know,
we were talking on my show a little bit about, you know, the DC universe, and you know, the movies. Do you scrap it and start over? Do you just keep going? Like, what's the play? I don't know. We always talk about this on our show. I think you might have to scrap it, because I mean, it seems like Affleck's out, Cavill's out. It's just, you know, when half your cast is like abandoning ship, you have no other choice. Yeah, you know what? I kind of think that way too. I don't know. I know that Gal Gadot, has been.
Yeah.
They really liked her performance, and it was good and stuff. Do you keep one and keep not the other, and then it gets confusing, and you lose casual fans, and
it seems like they're doing the opposite of Marvel right now. Is it seems like they were trying for like a unified universe. Now they're just putting out like one shot movies. They have like
here's Shazam,
yeah,
and here's this, and here's I don't know. And what the hell is with the new Joker movie? I don't understand that. I don't understand it. And people are excited. I hope I'm not stepping on your toes here. People are excited about it. I look at those pictures and stuff, and I think, oh no, I don't know. Maybe that'll probably mean it's fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't like the look, and I don't know, call me an old man, but I'm just like, the Joker is like a force of chaos. I mean, it kind of like, well, I feel kind of waters him down if you have like a set origin,
Yeah. That's what they've never done. They've never doesn't have his backstory.
I mean, in the that first Michael Keaton movie, I did that, but it
was fun, but that's not the way they do it in the comics, which not to say that's the definitive way, but that's the way they've done it, and that's why he's so fantastic, put Mark Hamill in there and just be done with it. Let him do it, because I loved him in the Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, yeah, him and Kevin Conroy, yeah.
Oh, man. But, it's one of my favorite memes that I saw was they had Joaquin Phoenix and his Joker, and then they had Heath Ledger, and it said, when someone picks the same character as you in a fighting game, just with different colored outfits, like that is perfect.
But yeah, I mean, I love like Nightwing and Batman. I want those DC movies to work in the worst way, but it's just like they don't. Yeah. I don't know if they were like rushing to try to get where Marvel was at that point, but it's like, no, I mean, love or hate Marvel. Marvel took their time. They took the last 10 years and they, step by step built themselves a movie universe.
I don't read Marvel much anymore. I don't read any Marvel anymore. Mm-hmm. But I love their movies. I have a blast, and I'm not one of those people that goes, well, I'm a DC fan, so I don't watch, and, like some people, and God forbid you read a forum somewhere. And it's just like, oh, you like someone I don't? Well, then you should die. Well, no, that's not exactly the case. But, it is frustrating to be that fan, especially when everyone knows that I was a Green Lantern fan, and then that movie comes out, and then everyone's like, oh, are you okay? It's like,
yes.
It'll be okay.
People who don't read comics are like, oh, that movie?
Yeah. People don't know, or they know a little, piece, and then they go, oh, I'm really going to wreck your life with this one. No, I saw it. It already wrecked my life. So that's the way it goes.
But I mean, yeah, it's the way to go with Green Lantern. If they don't, it seems like they're scared to do the live action. Is like another animated thing the way to go?
I don't know. Like, if they're going to do it, it needs to be, for me. And now, I don't know how to say it other than this. It needs to be like a buddy cop Die Hard in space. You know what I mean? Get it on. You can, it doesn't have to be in space, but I think it could start, you could do a first one in space and bring them here. But have, I think Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart would be fantastic. You got a cocky hotshot guy and you got like a military guy, and they could play off one another fantastically. And you could have that I hate to say buddy cop, it's so cliched, but they're cops, they're space cops. That's what they are.
I mean, you could do like a trilogy, have like the first one, Hal and John get the rings, they train on Earth, the second one, they're out in space, and then 3 kind of split the difference and do both. Yeah.
I mean, hey, just don't make it suck and I'll be happy.
I know. It wasn't that the rumor, the last rumor about if they do the movie in like 20 or 2022 or whatever it is, they were like, oh, they're all going to be in it, so it's everybody's favorite's going to be in it.
Right. Though I will say this, in the original, the Ryan Reynolds movie, Mark Strong, who played Sinestro, I thought he was really good. I thought that was a really good, Sinestro's not a bad guy. He's a bad guy. But, he wants what's good for the universe. He's just willing to take shortcuts to get there,
The ends justify the means.
Exactly. And I thought that he played that really well. I thought he was really good in that role. Mm-hmm. That was about the best part of that movie, but I thought he was really good, and so I hope, because he's a fun character. He's a lot of fun. You know,
I don't think I really had a problem that much with anybody's acting. It's just the story and the material they gave them.
Yeah, they tried to shove, what was it, 40 plus years or whatever it was into a 2-hour movie. Just way too much at one point in time. There never should have been any parallax, anything like that.
No, not in the first movie, and he shouldn't have beat him in the first movie now.
No, not at all. Not at all. No. But, beggars can't be choosers.
I know. It's like the whole Corps couldn't defeat Parallax, but he beats him
on the
this
first
guy
day
on the job. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it does? Oh, neat. Okay, yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But, it's at least they got out there. Now they hopefully know what not to do. We'll see. I'm not even sure we're going to see it, in 2020. Who knows?
Like I said, it just seems like they're scared to do it anymore, especially in live action, because they've teased it in the Arrowverse shows and stuff. But
I saw now I don't watch Arrowverse, but I saw where they were in the bar that one time outside like Ferris Air, and the guy turned and he had Jordan on his jacket. Like you didn't see his face, but that was one of the things that people were passing around and stuff. So they've definitely teased, stuff like that. But you don't put them on TV.
No, if anything else, I think you need like a big budget budget.
Yeah, I just can't imagine. My wife and we watched the Supergirl, and we watched some of the Arrowverse and stuff like that. I loved Smallville originally, and I watched that like crazy. I just never fell in love with them like I did. I really like Smallville. I don't even know if I love Smallville as much as I was invested in Smallville. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, we're going to keep chugging away. But it was a fun show.
I've already watched 9 seasons.
Like, come on. And then I bought the comic, for the next, what was that, season 11? And he got a Green Lantern ring, so, they did a bunch of stuff with that. But, it's one of those things where take chances, do stuff that, but I just can't see it working on television, for the budget and don't do it. That's all I'm saying. I pray don't do that,
No, I'm just like, oh, dude, like, you could do a Nightwing TV show. It's
yeah. I don't, what is on this? It's streaming for the DC, right?
It's kind of like you could get access to like all the old movies, like all the Christopher Reeve Superman.
So is it like a Netflix or is it like a channel that there's things on? Because I've never looked into it.
It's almost like Netflix, but it's like you get all the old DC stuff, like TV shows, some of the animation. Titans is like the first original TV show that's on there, but there's more like Doom Patrol's coming, Swamp Thing's coming, but then you get access to like they keep loading more and more, but digital comics too.
Yeah. Did you watch Young Justice?
Yes.
That was fantastic.
Oh yeah, season 3 that is coming.
I'm very, very happy that was brought back. It was just to me, it was so good.
Yeah. I pre-ordered it just because they had a deal. It was like $75 for like 15 months.
Yeah.
So I just I paid it and I was like, oh, I'm good till like the beginning of 2020 or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
It's one of those things where they put it out long enough you forget that it auto debits again, so they at least get you for 2.
I was gonna say, it's at least a little over a year. I don't.
Yeah. Or at least I'm that idiot who always forgets that stuff, and I go, "What the hell was a $40 charge for?" Oh, or my wife's like, "What's such and such?" I don't know. Oh, yeah, I'm dumb.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's. I like the who is it? On Young Justice, who played Batman. Something Greenwood. I like his voice.
Oh, is it Bruce Greenwood?
Bruce Greenwood. Yeah, he's got a really good voice. He's one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know everyone loves Kevin. Nothing against Kevin Conroy. I think he's a fantastic Batman. The inflection, the sound, everything. I really liked it. But it was just a fun show all around. And to me, and you got to see him grow up and stuff like that, and actually had like fleshed out bad guys, that you were rooting for people. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. So what I'm getting at is they can do it on the animated side. What the hell, DC? Put those people in control of your movies and let them make it, because that shit's working, and the other side isn't so much. So yeah.
That's why I'm just like, why don't they commit to like throw all this money into like a Green Lantern animated series? I mean, you could do it for, I mean, the price of animators, and you know,
right,
you have to worry about special effects. You can go big and crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of big and crazy special effects, you told me when we were talking, you're like, hey, you asked me if I was going to be recording from my Green Lantern room. I was like, no, you know, I have my own little studio set up. So you said, pull up some. I brought something I want to show you because it's one of my favorite pieces that I got. I was at C2E2, Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo a few years ago. They had a booth for this place. I want to say right before I put it on there. I'm a stuffed animal.com. And it was just like, you know, you fill out a card, you put it in there, and, you know, you might win one. I won, and they called me, and they make stuffed animals and stuff like that. And they emailed me, and they're like, we pulled your card, you won. What do you want us to make you? I'm like, can you make me into a Green Lantern? They're like, dang right you can. Wow. So I had them. I don't know if you can see it.
The camera's been off for a while. I didn't know turn it off.
No, I sure didn't.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Here, let me, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't know why it's off.
I don't know. Well, the button's like, if you scroll up, should be a bar like at the top of it.
Hey!
There you go.
I switched cameras for some reason there. Let me see if I can put you on the better one. Well, the other one went offline.
But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm sorry about that. That's the bad camera. But yeah, they made me a stuffed animal.
Wow.
And it looks just like me, doesn't it? Yeah, that's pretty cool. For the price of free. Sorry about that on the camera. I didn't even realize that. I'm just staring at you, not paying any attention.
That's okay. Probably like, why is he staring all weird like that? But yeah, it's probably like a poster or something. But like, what's the biggest like piece of your collection?
So I got some statues. I have I don't know, it's probably 3 feet tall. It's like green. It's Hal Jordan. He's on like this rock cliff, and he's got like his hand out. It's actually got like interchangeable hands, and they light up with different things. And it's it's this tall. I don't know if it's like 3.5 feet tall. It's pretty big. I've got all the life-size batteries that they made, the power batteries.
Oh, that was going to be my next question. That's like the one thing, if I get Green Lantern merchandise, I want like one of those rings and the light-up battery.
Yeah. So they made all of them, but indigo. Because they had like staffs. They never made that, but I have all of them, including the black and white. And my wife, I don't bowl. I don't bowl at all, but my wife got me a Green Lantern bowling ball and pen set. You know, like real like 13-pound or whatever the hell it is bowling ball. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. You know, and then I've got posters and stuff like that. One of the really cool ones that I got was someone got me from it was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And it was the Brave and the Bold, where they're fighting Starro. It was the first cover that had like Aquaman on it.
Yeah.
It's the cover, but it's, I don't know, a couple feet tall, and it's like a diorama. And you push the button, and it tells you the story. And it's Kevin Conroy talking, telling you like this is the first cover. Yeah. And it lights up, and then it picks a random character and tells you the backstory of the character. So that's pretty cool, you know. And every time I'm in there, I just hit it, and I've heard them all 1,000 times, you know. But I do that quite a bit.
But those power batteries, do you just have a shelf with like all the batteries lined up on it?
I don't have, unfortunately, the room in there for them to all be next to one another. So they're kind of like, I have like a bookshelf that has all my Yellow Lantern, you know, Sinestro Corso on that one.
Got them
and
categorized.
The white one's over. Yeah, kind of. I mean, a lot of it's just dispersed throughout. I would love to think that I had like one shelf that fit them all, but I don't really have that spot for it. One day. Well, that's cool. No, that is cool. There you have a Yellow Lantern section and and they actually they light up. So if you touch the ring to them, they light. As long as you got batteries on them, they light up.
I want one of those. Oh man.
Yeah. And so I kind of got. Oh, so the other thing I have a lot of like rando stuff is I worked for Namco for a long time, working electronics. Namco, like the gaming company, Pac-Man, you know, arcades. And they would work on those claw machines in the back, and they'd always get stuffed animals. And they'd always put in these cheapo Green Lantern plushes in there. So every time, everyone there knew I collected Green Lantern. So when we got new ones, they'd have them. So I have dozens of, like, these cheap knockoff like Green Lantern. There you go. Like, and they're just, you know, one's got one arm up and the next one's got both arms up and one arm down. You know, they're all like just kind of a knockoff of one, and the face on them is so pretty. Yeah, you know. So I got a bunch of those. It was so funny. Like I'd come, you know, into work and go to my desk, and there's just like 3 stuffed Green Lanterns sitting on them. Like, someone got a new machine and it was full of superheroes.
That looked like, like we said back in the beginning, that looked like some Super Friends Hal Jordan.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the animation on Super Friends was just so sketchy all the time. And things, they would change colors sometimes. They'd be the wrong color. They had to know they left that in. They're like, Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
I know. And then they're just like, it's just a bunch of 6-year-olds watching this. It doesn't matter.
And did you ever watch Space Ghost?
Yeah.
Coast to Coast?
Yeah.
He was trying to join the Justice League and they wouldn't let him in. And it must have been the same announcer, because it cuts out and it's like, meanwhile at the Hall of Justice, outside in a hole of justice. he's dug a hole in the Hall of Justice yard. It's him and like a couple other guys. There's 3 of us. 4, I'm invisible. There's 4 of us in here. But yeah, that was a fantastic show.
All right, I won't take up too much more of your time, but here I have a final question for you.
All right.
If they can perfect a live action Green Lantern movie, who do you think would play a perfect Hal Jordan?
Man, I really like Nathan Fillion. I don't know if he's too old now, but I like his voice he looks the part, at least he has forever, and I really like his voice that he does. You know, he plays Hal Jordan on all the animated shows. So I guess in a perfect world, I'd pick Nathan Fillion, and I'd also love to see Idris Elba. Yeah. He'd be an awesome Jon Stewart. I mean, just a fantastic Jon Stewart. I don't know if they'll ever, you know, cast him. Those are also 2 guys that are getting a lot older and probably can't be really starting franchises like that. But I
mean, it would take it takes a lot of money, I think, but they have that CGI stuff where they can make people look younger, like they did Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. But I think that's my either that or pick a nobody. You know what I mean? Pick a nobody that I've never heard of. But man, I can't get over, like, you know, those 2 in my mind. That's who I kind of go to when I think about either of those characters. Just I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of the time I almost wish for an unknown, because it's like, I mean, a lot of performances are great, but like, you know, like Batman v Superman, I was like, that's Affleck in a bat suit.
Yeah, when you're too, you know, they also talked about a long time ago, like, Tom Cruise was going to be, you know, Hal Jordan stuff. But you look at that stuff and it's like, it's hard not to go, that's Tom, like you said, that's Tom Cruise in spandex, you know, or that's this, that, and the other. And, you know, hopefully they're good enough actors that that's not the case, but it is a lot of times. So that's why, you know. That's why I'm happy.
That's why I'm happy, even if it's like a big name actor, if I'm not familiar with their work, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right. You know, I saw a bunch of people saying, "Oh, Channing Tatum should be him, or he should be Guy Gardner," and all this stuff. I'm like, I don't know, man. No, I don't want like a bro comedy.
You know? He spent like the last 5-10 years trying to get Gambit off the ground.
I know, and there's all the rumors it's coming, it's not coming, it's coming, it's not coming. You know, so I don't know. And if he's passionate about it, good for you. I hope he gets it. You know,
I mean, Ryan Reynolds was about Deadpool, and see what he came about there.
Yeah, that worked out. You know, and now he's Detective Pikachu.
I know. I saw that. I'm like, wait a minute. I think I saw that on YouTube. I was like, wait a minute. Is that rare for real?
Talk about you know, jarring you out of the moment. He's got such a distinct voice that to me it's just like, oh, it's Ryan Reynolds. Detective Ryan Reynolds, you know, in a Pikachu outfit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. To me, I get it, and a lot of people are going to go for that just for him, but to me, you know, that's just a bad choice in casting. But hey, I'm not making those movies. So, you know.
They like a big name. They like a big name on those. Probably.
Yeah, right? You can hang your hat on it. At least a lot of people are going to come, you know, and see it. A lot of people just pay for that, so more power to them, I guess.
All right, so I will let you go. Thank you so much for
Thank you
for sharing your story and your collection. Yeah. And I just love talking geek stuff with people. I mean,
yeah, I had a blast. Thank you very much. It's awesome to get on here and chat and not have people going nerd. I'm the one guy. Most of my friends aren't into this stuff, so I try to talk to them about it. And they're like, "Oh, neat. You want to go do this?" Like, oh, okay. So, I know this is an outlet for me.
I'll just walk into work and people will be like, "Oh, so what's the next Marvel movie coming out?" Or what order do I watch these in? I'm like, okay,
yeah, right.
Start with Iron Man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. I had a blast. Yeah, absolutely.
We already mentioned it, but again, where can people find your podcast?
Yeah, Hysteria51.com is really easy. The show's Hysteria51. You can go there. You can find links to everything. Any podcatcher you use, you'll find us iTunes, Stitcher. We're on Spotify, anywhere. Or just Google Hysteria51. Yeah.
All right.
Real simple. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
See ya. All right, everyone. That was Brent Hand. Yes, check out Hysteria 51, his podcast. And thank you, Rob Southgate, for putting us together. Like I said, I love talking geek with people, especially if it's Marvel or DC. If you think you have an interesting story like that, collections, we're always looking to talk to people who work in comics or who make these TV shows or movies. Email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com, and on Twitter, I am @nightwingpdp. And of course, you can always get a hold of us for anything for our podcast, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, @capeslunatics. We're on Instagram, and a voicemail. Easy. If you even go to our social media, a lot of our social media, just one button you hit and it'll take you right to our voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Once again, thank you, Brent. Brent Hand, everyone. Probably #1 Green Lantern fan. So informative. I would love to be in the Guinness Book of World Records for Nightwing collection. I'd start working on that, but I don't know if I'm willing to pay the price or film, like you said. But yes, come join us. Come follow. If you're listening on the podcast, if you're on YouTube, that's where we record first. If you're watching this YouTube video, follow us on iTunes, Libsyn, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. Capes and Lunatics, and we have our companion podcast, Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks. We have content releases all week, so until next time, the greatest day.